If you've never heard about Ayurvedic medicine, now is your chance because you're going to get a primer on this ancient healing philosophy and tradition that comes out of India. Today, I'm going to be speaking with Dr. Virender Sodhi, who I've known for decades and have been a real admirer of his work. In medical systems, there are paradigms. The way that the body is viewed, the way that diseases and symptoms are viewed, is not all through this Western medical conventional lens that we're all familiar with here in the United States and Canada. And really, it's a system that has propagated and expanded throughout the world. But in many areas of the world, like India, there are ancient healing traditions that are based on science and tradition and ways of viewing the body that display a different paradigm than I think we're used to. And so this is going to be really enlightening, and it's going to help you understand ways that you can approach your health that maybe you haven't thought about before. So, Dr. Sodhi, Virender, we're on a first name basis, so we'll continue the conversation in that fashion. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Dr. Newstead. I know I have lots of appreciation for your work. So thank you for kind words.
I appreciate that. So let's just start. Assume that nobody listening knows about Ayurvedic medicine and what it is. What can you tell them to orient them to this?
So let me put in a very few words. What Ayurvedic medicine is the knowledge of Mother Nature. Mother Nature has its own symphony. It is its own drama, its own orchestra. And our ancestors learned that symphony, that orchestra, that knowledge, and put into useful, wonderful tips for the humans to stay healthy. So the one of the very interesting concept about Ayurvedic medicine is called Swastha Vrita. Swastha means health, Vrita means circle. So Ayurvedic medicine is about creating a circle of health around you because there are circadian rhythm, there's a biorhythm, everything changes, and you learn how to follow those laws of Mother Nature and patterns of the Mother Nature. And by sinking into it, automatically you create health.
I love that. I love that. That really sets the table nicely. And within that, I'm sure we can unpack a lot. Before we do, though, I do want to mention, and I neglected to before, but I want people to know just what a history you have and who is speaking today with me. But you were the first Ayurvedic practitioner, Ayurvedic physician in the United States. Is that correct?
Yeah, first as a licensed physicians to practice. There are a lot of people who came, but they never went to school like me, like I was crazy like anybody else. But so went to Best University in 1986 and graduated from there. So I'm an old timer. You are also alumni of Best
Amazing.
University.
Yes,
And I've
yes,
seen actually you
absolutely.
in the college and you attended few of my lectures. So really,
Absolutely.
really amazing. Yes, amazing. Yes.
So
Yeah.
you've set the table nicely in terms of nature and creating a circle of health. But within that, then, how is the body viewed? How are illnesses viewed? How does somebody stay within that circle of health? And if they're outside of that, how do they get back to it?
Yeah. So I think let me go little bit philosophy of Ayurvedic medicine. So it's very parallel to Chinese medicine in many ways. So we talk about elements. These elements are energy molecules basically, and they're from lighter to the heaviest. And so we call ether the lightest, the air a little more heavier, fire more heavier, water and earth. So these are actually the cycles of the mother nature. And when we talk about ether, air, fire, water, earth, these are not molecules, these are energy molecules. And so in our bodies, these molecules or these elements are expressed in differently, and we call them doshas. And we call them vata, pitta, and kapha. You might have heard about those because when you
Heard
have
of them?
taken my classes.
Yeah.
So it's a little foreign to a lot of our listeners. But ether and air is the vata combination. And the fire and water is the pitta. And kapha is the water and earth. So these are, that vata, pitta, and kapha, we call them. And they actually are the maker and breaker of our whole body. And we know from our experiences that everybody is different. So we come with a different makeup. Like I call people, there's a Honda car, there's a Mercedes, there's a Benz, all have a strong points and the weak points. So this is actually donated to us from our parents. Your father, mother has genetic makeup, and they give us their cellular donations, and then we become, into what we are. And then we also write a software on it. So recently I did a podcast. I said, the genes are not the cause of your disease. They're waiting for the triggers to be pulled on. So your genes wait for epigenetics, which pulls the trigger on it. So that is the amazing, wonderful concept in Ayurvedic medicine, which we just recently understood the science of epigenetics, which was not known when we went to medical school, especially when I went to medical school. And so these epigenetic markers, it can be from your mind, like, how you think, how frustrated you are, how happy you are creating a cellular chemistry. When you're angry all the time, no matter what you do, your C-reactive protein will be always very high. And there is a studies available on it. So,
Just so
you
people know, because they may not be familiar, C-reactive protein is a marker of inflammation.
That's right. Yep. So this is, this is just the one example of it. And so now what we do, we come up with a certain kind of hardware and we write a software. Your parents help you. And when you go to schooling, they help you to write the software. And then we also write the type of society, type of friendship I have. I'm writing a software on it. And once we combine all those things, then your software start to purge out whatever is been programmed into it. So that's the also a health and disease process too. When we are process everything according to Mother Nature, like now we are in winter, so we all dressed up warm. I know you live in San Diego, you don't have to, but in Washington State, we have to dress up warm because naturally the warm the cold weather will make you shrink. This is in the laws of physics. When things shrink, they become more brittle. So no wonder why we have more heart attacks in winter. More people get heart attack when they shovel in the snow outside in minus 30-degree temperature. So that is, that's how the Ayurvedic medicine has learned from the Mother Nature what causes and what we need to do to not go into that situation. So there's a lots of wonderful ways of syncing with the circadian rhythms. You mesh up your biorhythms, like a just simple thing, going to bed by 10 o'clock, now waking up early. By just doing that, and I think you have talked about your sleep, you have a wonderful sleep formula there, that sleep is one of the most important repairing mechanism in our body. And there is no supplement, there is no drug, there is nothing which can help that much if you get a good natural occurring sleep in your body. And now we have just recently learned in the last few years, the lymphatic system, which cleans your brain regularly. And if you get a deep quality sleep, you are cleaning your brain. No wonder we have more dementia, more Alzheimer's disease, and actually it's one of the most dreaded disease right now. And in Ayurvedic medicine, we said, okay, if you are getting older, you're going into Vata phase. Vata causes dryness, and it causes breaking of things more easy. It causes more aches and pains and triggers inflammation. So all those things, like, you have a very wonderful product for osteoporosis. So we are doing, because the body is not depositing things where it needs to deposit. It's depositing in the wrong places. Like your calcium, instead of your arteries, should be deposited in the bones. And when it's depositing in the ligament, it's causing a disease pattern. When it's depositing in the heart, it's causing a heart attack. But we can follow the laws of Mother Nature by nutrition, by doing some activity. So breathing, very heavy emphasis on breathing exercise. Because when we breathe, we are actually one of the best mitochondrial cleaning process is a breathing process. And we have mitochondrial dysfunction, which is actually a term which has been lately been coined. And it is because we are not breathing. And what we're breathing, we are so much toxic air, environment pollution, pollution in our food chain. It is making our mitochondria very toxic. But naturally, the body has been given that amazing healing mechanism when you do the breathing exercise. And most of us were breathing wrong. We're not breathing the parasympathetic pattern. We are breathing sympathetic pattern. Means, we go, 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 go. Like your schedule is busy, my schedule is busy. So everything takes the last chair, except for which is more important, or urgent things get more done. The most important never get done. And those are the basic, like going for a walk, doing stretching, doing yoga, doing your breathing exercise, eating healthy food according to season. So Ayurvedic medicine asks us to eat food which is available in Mother Nature. And Dr. Newstead, it took me many years to understand that concept. So basically every season, if you look at the, now we don't have any season in America because it's all around, every food is brought in or are grown in greenhouses, so there is not that. But what I realized, that when you eat the food which is grown in that season, that has a epigenetics triggers in it. Have you ever wondered why there is more nuts and seeds in winter rather than in summer? Because what do you need in winter? You need heat. You need more, you're more dry, you need more oils, you need more protein. You are also very heavy into protein. So this is a way you have to eat more protein, good amount of protein. And there are a variety of nuts and seeds are provided by the Mother Nature to us. So when we follow the laws of Mother Nature, we have a hard time getting wrong. And people will live, still gonna go for recycling. There's no way out of it. But the quality of life and how your brain is active until you die is the most important. I think one of the most feared disease right now is Alzheimer disease. Everybody's so scared about it. And I see patient, I think you might have seen patient, and but it's a very kind of a serious and sad disease. But one of the things which is we also brought on us because we change our food chain, and I think going to a naturopathic school opened up my eyes in a way. I knew the food is wrong, but I did not know how wrong it was until I went to Best University and then started learning all the chemicals. Dr. Joe Pizzorno's lectures and all our other colleagues who has amazing and dedication to this profession, they enlighten us a lot.
Yeah, and there are 10,000 chemicals in the US that are approved for foods, and most of them have not been tested in terms of toxicology. And right now, ultra processed foods make up about 60% of calories in the US diet. So it's just really backwards. It's the opposite of how we should be eating. And you mentioned
Exactly.
vata is dryness, and then you have
Pitta is a fire.
pitta is a fire.
Fire. So it makes you intelligent. These people are kind of go-getter, overachiever. They are kind of spilling, like, you have a lot of pitta in you, and neither me, because we all lost hair. So it's more shiny. So kapha is more of a cold and the watery and earthy. So
So what
people.
would a personality? It sounds like there are certain personality types that are associated with these different doshas. So what would a
That's right.
kapha personality be like?
So the kapha personality is loving, easygoing. They don't have to eat pizza. They just pass by Pizza Hut, gain 5 pounds, so their metabolism slows down. And the vata personality is very jubilious, go like a running all the time, and they overexhaust themselves because of that. Pitta is very organized, very functional, the very methodical. Like this is should be 1, 2, 3, 4. Like numbers are there in the head, so they become very successful. But also every dosha type has a positive and negative. Like a vata is prone to fear and anxiety. Pitta is prone to the anger, frustration, irritability, inflammation. The kapha is prone to attachment. I have a hard time letting it go, and they gain weight, they retain water, so all those type of stuff. So I think again, everybody we have positive and negative, and everything model is to understand. For example, like I see a lot of patients with cancer because I specialize in oncology. And so their doctor has given all the chemotherapy, standard drug, radiation. They are very, very heating in nature. I think you understand from the Chinese model of two that there are things which are heating, there are things which are cooling. So radiation, chemo are very, very hot. So what do we see? We see all those symptoms, like burning symptoms. That's what they have. I'm putting in one simple language, but there is lots of things attached to it. So Ayurvedically, what we do, we actually trying to bring some coolness in them. So one interesting treatment may, help you to understand that model. Like we use a herb called henna, which people use for dyeing hair. Henna has been applied on the hands and feet of the people who has a chemo and radiation side effect, and it actually calm it down. So the Ayurvedic model is this too hot, too heating. Henna has a cooling property when they put it on. Actually, this been paper has been published on it. So really interesting. That excites me when I see those Ayurvedic models. So wow, that is amazing. Like, small chain fatty acid. We just realized, I think, maybe 15, 20 years ago, that the gut, when you eat the fiber, we make small chain fatty acids. And in Ayurvedic medicine, we have put a lot of emphasis on eating right kind of food and vegetable heavy food. And again, another thing which has a lot of small chain fatty acid is a butter and ghee. And we have completely demonized butter and ghee. It says, okay, my God, this is the worst food you can do. And your cholesterol is going to go high. That model, according to my research and my 45 years in medicine, that model has completely failed. It's not
Yeah.
shown any positive. And what we have seen, like if the study published in 2023 showed people take all their life these cholesterol lowering statin drugs, they got a 1 day extra. 60% people got diabetes, and 21% people got some kind of dementia. So, really crazy. And then there was no drop in the heart attack, 0.03% and 0.06% drop in the stroke. If you have to invest your money, you come from the wonderful background of business families. Will you invest your money when you get a return 0.03% or 0.06%?
Yeah. No, and in fact, diet has been shown repeatedly to have much better results when it comes to reducing
Crazy. Two
cardiovascular
weeks.
disease risk.
If you do 2 weeks good healthy diet, I know when we talk about diet, I think we have make it taboo about diet too. I think we should start changing the language, eating the right kind of food for you. In 2 weeks, your cholesterol normalizes, your inflammation normalizes, and body starting to feel so much better. But I think we are so used to this garbage eating culture. Sorry to say that. We are just hooked up on that one.
Well, and something you said really caught my attention, and that's about if it's hot, you want to cool it. And so this balancing, perspective on rebalancing the system, I think informs a lot of what you do. And you've created a phenomenal company, Ayush Herbs, that's been around for decades now. And I remember when I was in school and have used the products clinically, and they're really phenomenal. And my understanding is that your formulations, similar to what happened to me. I mean, you were looking for things that didn't exist that you were trying to help your patients and other people's patients with. And so you started formulating and creating, unlike me, though, you were coming from an Ayurvedic tradition and background. And so when you're looking for, product formulations and you're looking at herbs, are you seeing them through that lens of heating, cooling, and other perhaps properties that they may have that are important within Ayurveda?
Yes, Dr. Newstead. So I think one of the interesting story which I want to tell you, when I graduated from Boston University, I thought it would be a good idea to bring Ayurvedic product to this country. I imported some product. FDA did the examination. I think you had the similar kind of experience. The product was so much garbage, so much heavy metals, so much contamination that it was considered unsafe for human use. That's why I started this one.
Well, and in fact, there have been studies since then. I mean,
Yeah,
even more recently, just Ayurvedic products, coming over
in journal.
from
Yeah.
India on shelves in stores, and they randomly selecting them and testing them, and some of them have very high metals in them. So people
That's
have to
right.
be very careful who they're buying their products from.
Exactly. And that's how I started this company. And we get triple testing done so that we don't do anything deliver wrong. And I'm a biggest consumer of my products. My family is, my kids are, my grandkids are, and I don't want to poison my family. So I consider everybody, this is a part of my family. Because
Yeah,
if I don't want to give it to my family, I don't want to give it to anybody else.
I have the
And
same
so
perspective. Yeah.
yeah. So basically, yes, I think the Ayurvedic perspective is, we have a very amazing. There is a prayer which we say, says like a Sarve Santu Nirame, that everybody in the universe should be healthy. So I'm not talking about only humans. I'm talking about animals, birds, fish, plants, water, all those created. Because when they are healthy, we are also healthy, naturally healthy. So that is the premises of Ayurvedic medicine, that we should be living in balance. We talked about the balance here. And you create a balance by your thought process, prayers, meditation, breathing exercise, walking, and following certain rituals like Tai Chi, which is not Ayurvedic, but that's a fits into it, the model of balancing and creating a harmony with us and with your universe.
I love that. I love that. And with some of the things you said remind me of five elements in Chinese medicine. The different using, fire and earth.
That's right. Metal and yeah, wood. Yep, yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
different elements.
Yes.
But when you see, you talk to people, and are there some things you hear that are misunderstandings of Ayurvedic that you think are would be helpful to clear up, that maybe commonly you get comments made to you where they think Ayurvedic is one thing and you're just inside maybe shaking your head saying no, no.
Yeah, after 45 years, I have all kinds of comments, for somebody who says, I don't want to do Ayurvedic medicine, don't want to change my religion. I said, what are you talking about? It's not
Religion.
a religion. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The
Interesting.
same comment has been made to me. But, basically, some people think, I'm going to do the magic, Ayurvedic medicine, I'm going to give them. And they had like high hopes. And majority of the time, when you and us, a lot of our community, see patient which has been under the revolving doors, they're going from one doctor to another, not finding any help, and then they come to us. Like my cancer patient, most of them has failed radiation chemo, and then they say, okay, now the last resort. So basically, I think I start with the basic. What is our basic? First important thing is digestion. If you're not digesting, and a lot of them, people come to with bags of nutritional supplements. I said, okay, stop them right there. You're not helping. You're making your system overloaded. When your system is overloaded, it's not going to heal. It's going to revolt. It's going to say, okay, my God, what are you trying to do to me? So start with the digestion. Start with the simple thing. Start eating healthy. I changed their whole kitchen cabinet. Says, okay, put no a simple thing like start with a 1 cup of green leafy vegetable, 1 cup of root vegetable, which is very easy to do. And you eat some good protein. If you're vegetarian, you can put beans, nuts, seeds. If you into dairy product, you can use cheese, you can use yogurt. What 2 cups of yogurt will provide you 20 grams of protein. So you'll balance the whole thing. And then you also says, okay, go to bed by 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
And most of us, we are not, and we all have these gadgets. I love my cell phone, I love my computer, I love my iPad and my TV. And we all know that they are emitting some kind of special blue light, which is completely interfering with melatonin production. And we're not going to have a quality deep sleep. And when we don't have a quality deep sleep, we're not going to heal. So these simple things, when you start changing, and now you put something for digestion. Okay, now you put something for deficiencies. Almost everybody has seen so far in my 45 years, maybe more than 25 patients testing, 25,000 patient testing. Vitamin D is deficient. We all know that. My own level was 4 when I started looking into it
Wow.
around
That's
25
new.
years ago. 4. And I will be, if I have, luckily I checked it before the COVID happened. Otherwise, I'll be dead by this time because the study shows people who are below 20 died with the COVID. So these simple things, which not many, I just did the Instagram on it, like vitamin D, no doctor tested. It's only $25. Get it tested. Because simple thing, 50% all cause mortality less by just taking normal amount of vitamin D. And in our neighborhood, I give 5,000 IU because as you know, in Northwest, you studied here, there is very less sun. If there is a sun, we still covered up. My face is the only real estate available for the sun to work on it. So we don't have enough body's surface to produce enough vitamin D. And then, start looking at, say, okay, what other nutrient deficiency you have? Now you're plugging those holes in. All of a sudden the story started changing from you know symptom related disease process to a healing process internally, starting from within, inside out, and you start to glow.
I think that's one of the starkest differences between the conventional approach and Ayurvedic. It's conventionally the body and clinical interventions, treatment plans are are mostly based on managing a symptom instead of promoting and supporting somebody's health to restore health.
Yeah,
And that's where Ayurvedic really comes in, because
that's
it's
right.
looking at how health can be restored in the body through a holistic approach. And there are
Yeah,
other, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, our body is designed to heal naturally. You get a cut. If you don't do anything, just keep it clean. 7 days later, it's all healed. You break your bone, you align the bones. 6 weeks later, you have a bones healed. So it's amazing. We are amazing machine. Like, one of the, I think maybe there was a Dr. David Ho, I think, who was the instrumental in the HIV studies. And he was doing, when he was through his medical school, he was studying on HIV. And one of his remarks still is stuck in my head. He said, what I noticed that when people got infected with HIV, the body was making copies of HIV in millions, and it was destroying in the million. And until the body's immune system exhausts, then people develop antibodies against HIV. Then they show, oh, you have HIV. So like diseases like dreaded disease like HIV, body was fighting it. And so I think we all have that ability to heal, and it all naturally happens. I just published a book last year. It's called Free Medicine. Your Body is a Natural Pharmacy. Everything comes on demand. Everything comes on demand.
I love that. Free medicine. Your body is a pharmacy.
Natural pharmacy.
Natural pharmacy is the name of it.
Natural
That's a
pharmacy.
phenomenal title.
Yeah, yeah. So basically, like even we virus passes by it. Like when I'm a grandpa, and when my daughter-in-law got come into my family, and she's a dentist and orthodontist, very medically trained, and being Ayurvedically trained and naturopathically trained, we had kind of little argument about the vaccinations and how she should be very careful not give all kinds of vaccination which is available. And she was just, oh, this old man, what he's thinking about, is my child and I need to take care of it my way. And I said, okay, fine, back up. And then we have Dr. Zavicki, our own colleague back in
Yeah,
Portland.
Heather,
I got yeah, I got her literature, which is very scientific because she's very
the
scientific.
PhD in immunology.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I gave her that information. And you not believe Dr. Newstead, in 6 months, she had a completely 360-degree turn. So she said, Dad, you were so right. And then she starts studying her own. And what she realized that when the mother is pregnant, even if virus passes 60, 70 feet away, body already making antibodies against it.
Wow.
So that's we are unbelievable walking, talking medicinary.
Well, and I think that leads to a bigger point about community. And I think in Ayurvedic medicine, there's a stress on that as well, that how we are influenced by our environment. And that's not just the air we breathe and the water we drink and the food we eat, but also the people we surround ourselves with
That's
and
true.
what we're coming in contact with.
Yep.
All of those have energetic signatures that then, resonate within us and change our health and our well-being, either for the good or in the bad direction.
That's true. We all can, when the COVID was hitting us, we were so scared, fearful, and it was also media hyped
Oh yeah.
fear. And people were just like, people have to have a COVID, they're just ready to die. Okay, I'm done now. So this is what we have done. So the fear is one of the most bad thing for us. And if you look at all the modern day practice of medicine is based on fear.
Yeah.
If you don't get your colonoscopy, you will die of colon cancer. If you don't do your prostate exam, you're going to die of prostate exam. If you don't do mammography, you're going to die of cancer of breast. And if you look at I think you might have read those studies. When you do the meta-analysis of all these colonoscopy, mammography, even heart screening, we are not helping people to even give extra one day. So prevention is good, but prevention is not statin.
Yeah. It's interesting what
Prevention,
you said about I never thought about that. The conventional approach is based on fear. And I hear that a lot from patients in my, kind of area of expertise and, bone health and osteoporosis. It is the normal conversation goes something like this. A woman comes to me, already diagnosed. She had her DEXA scan, met with her conventionally trained physician, who literally put the fear of God in her and said, if you don't start taking the medication, you're going to fracture and die, as though it was an absolute certainty. And everything is couched around fear. Now, not every conversation is that severe. I'm giving you some,
yeah,
kind of
sweet example. Yeah.
some extreme examples,
Yeah.
but that's not so unusual. That's how it's discussed, instead of
Yeah.
looking at, okay, what can we do? The system is now in this situation where health has declined. What can we do to work with the body? Where are things out of balance? And osteoporosis is, by definition, it's a disease of imbalance where the destructive forces
Exactly.
are winning.
Exactly.
And so our job is to, no matter what somebody's presenting with, is trying to understand where those balances are. And that aligns perfectly well with Ayurvedic medicine.
That's very true. Very true. You put it in a very wonderful words. Yeah. So actually, I think as a physician, we talk about placebo medicine, nocebo medicine. If I am able to invoke a placebo in him, maybe through the nutrition, maybe through the thought process, maybe doing some activity, uh, it's free. There's no side effect, zero side effect. And body feels good, people feel better about it. So I think there is a lot of things which we can do in our field here. Even what are you doing with the podcast, and I'm trying to do that too. So we have an amazing role guiding people in the right direction. One of my model is disease free societies. Let's don't focus on disease. This is also how the allopathic medicines, they teach them very wonderful anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, molecular biology, pathology, and all the different modalities, internal medicine, surgery, ENT, blah, blah, blah. And when it comes to practice, they all practice on one thing, pathology. They completely forget about the normal physiology, about the normal immunology of the body, how the body can recover from that one. And that's the difference between Ayurvedic medicine and their thought process.
I love that. I love that. That is another eye opener for me. I mean, you said a couple things today that really, again, you taught me 20 years ago. You're an amazing teacher, and you still are an incredible
Oh, thank you.
teacher and source of wisdom and knowledge. So thank you. How can people find out more about you and your work and your companies? How can they learn more?
So, I'm Dr. Virender Sodhi. I'm practicing in Bellevue, Washington State here. You can go to our website, www.ayurvedicscience.com. So it's Ayurvedic science.com. And our company is www.ayush.com. And we trying to do a little bit our work, for the better of humanity, better of planet, because we are very conscientious company. We love to be, that all those things which, the Mother Nature has given to us, they should be sustainable, available to my generations. I have grandkids now, two of them, and I want their kids and their kids to have that privilege which we got. And when I grew up, I didn't grow up with chemicals. I grew up in a mountain village, and I want the same clean environment back again. And there was no chemical utilized in Indian farming until 70s. And so I am part of that one. The product was clean. They were so
Yeah.
yummy, so good. People, I didn't see obese people in my high school. There was a zero, not talk about obese, not even heavy, not even overweight. And when now I go and I graduated in 1980 in India. Now the things, everybody has a waistline which cannot be measured even. So sad part.
Well, there's a
But
great book. Are you familiar with the book, The Violence of the Green Revolution?
no, I'd not, but I will read it
It's
now.
it's a book all about the change in the agricultural system in India and what happened when companies went in with genetically modified seeds and
They killed, yep.
pesticides, and
Yep.
what happened to the traditional farming methods and the diets. Yeah, it was amazing. And the
Yeah.
other book that I think is phenomenal too is one called, it's a newer, called Ultra Processed People, all
Yes.
about the spread of ultra processed foods around the world, and what it's doing to the people's
Yes.
health and physiology. So amazing. Hopefully people look, your websites will be linked in the show notes. So hopefully people will go and learn more. They should, because there's tremendously helpful information on your websites, and you're a great source of healing knowledge, and your products are phenomenal. I've used them. I think they're
Thank you.
incredible. Your
Thank you for the
formulation.
plug.
You're welcome. It's with all sincerity, with all sincerity. So
Thank you.
thank you
My,
for being here and spending some time with me. I really appreciate it.
thank,
Great to see you again.
thank you, Dr. Newstead, for having me too.